Okay, I'm back. Ugh, that was dumb. Game crashed, so hopefully it doesn't crash again when I go through the portal again. That was weird. Please don't crash. Okay, I didn't. Okay. Where be all the fucking piglins at? There was a bunch of them here, now they're all gone. Oh, they're over there. Okay. I don't know if you can still hear me. Let me know if you can't. Hello, sir. Got some trades for you. Okay, good. Yeah, that was weird. I went through the nether portal and it just crashed. I'm definitely gonna back up the save when I get off tonight. I usually do it every 2 nights or so. Like I'll back up the save on the cloud, so if it gets corrupted like the last time, I don't fucking lose it, because I learned my lesson from that. That's for fucking sure. Let me know if what. And this dude is not giving me anything good though. Yeah. Bruh, this dude's giving me nothing. Oh, what was it you were asking earlier about the Sega stuff you wanted me to explain? Bro, not a single pearl yet. That's a hard thing to answer. It's the most obscure out of the consoles, I guess. Like, it's the one that not very many people have, for sure. It has a very bad reputation for having a lot of bad games, but I don't think that it's legit. I like it because it's a cool experiment and a cool piece of tech for the time. I think it's underrated in that way. It's the only game machine I have that I want to get a full collection. I want to have every game for it. Yes, I have both. How do I explain this? The Sega Genesis, like the one you have and one I have, right, is called in Japan and in Europe, it's called the Sega Mega Drive. That's the name of it. It's actually called the Sega Mega Drive. And when they brought it to North America, because it was all like in the 90s, everything was radical and cool, they decided to give it a cool name, so they called it the Sega Genesis. So if you ever see a Sega Mega Drive or a Mega CD, it literally just means it's just the Genesis. It's just a different name. It's the same thing. It's just that's the European/Japanese name for it. Could that ghast like not? Okay. Like, later on, I might actually get a Japanese one, just because I'd like to have it. Yeah, so Sega CD came out, the Sega Genesis came out in, like, 1988, and it was out for a few years, and then when CDs became, like, a valid format that people were buying, a lot of consoles were doing CD add-ons for their consoles, so you could do whatever. And I think PC Engine was the first one to do it, but Sega did the Sega CD, which is an add-on for it. Sega CD games can do full motion video, like movie video, whatever. They can do it's basically got another 2 processors in it, so it actually has better graphics technically than a regular Genesis. And it can do like sprite scaling and stuff, which is where, I don't know how to explain this. You know games where like they rotate like sprites and stuff and it looks really cool, it's like a really cool effect, or you see like games like Afterburner or Space Harrier, or even the Outrun game like you have. There's games like that for the Sega CD, they'll run a lot better because it has a processor to literally deal with that. So it's like a more powerful thing. Also, CDs give you CD audio, so they could literally put real songs on games instead of having to make like 16-bit soundtracks. I don't know if that helps. Yeah, I have a Sega Saturn too, yes. Sega Saturn was the generation after the Genesis. So the console that came out to replace the Genesis and its add-ons was the Saturn. The Saturn's like is like the equivalent of a PlayStation 1 or a Nintendo 64. It was Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, and the Sega Saturn were like the main competitors. So like a lot of games that are on PlayStation are also on Saturn. Saturn is not very good in North America, but it has a lot of really good Japanese games. It's 2 completely different consoles. Like, they have completely different libraries of games. There's some carryover, but not very much. Because you think about it, the Sega CD came out in 1992, and the Sega Saturn came out in 1997, right? So, like, they're very far apart from each other. What do you mean by work better? Man, this dude hasn't given me a single pearl out of a whole stack of gold. What are these trades, dude? Come on. I think the Sega CD has a lot better games than the Saturn does, for sure. But that's just my preference. Sega CD games are definitely more expensive. This guy's giving me some weird shit. Why are they more expensive? Well, it's like 5 years older, for one thing. For two things, in order to play Sega CD games, you kind of have to have the Genesis to play them, obviously, because it's an add-on. I don't know. I think it's just the rarity of the games, because the Sega CD didn't sell as much as a Saturn, obviously, because the Saturn is just a standalone console. And in order to have a Sega CD, you already would have had to pay, say, $120 for a Sega Genesis, and then pay another $250 for the Sega CD add-on. So, like, a lot of people didn't buy it because it was expensive. It's a lot to pay when you could just, it didn't make sense to a lot of people, I guess. I'm not trading with this guy no more. I gotta go trade someone else because this dude is fucking trash. So a lot of the games that came out for Sega CD, there are not very many of them made, so they became very rare. Like Snatcher, which is like my grail game. which is like $900, right? I'd never actually buy it, probably. Like, I don't think I would unless I was like a millionaire, because it's literally not worth it. Like, I could literally just get an emulator or something. Think of the Saturn as its own console. Like, it's the next generation. The Saturn is 32 bits, while the Genesis is 16, right? I'm trying to think of like how to explain this better. Think of the Sega CD as like an add-on for the Genesis that made it slightly more powerful, but not very much. It's kind of like it gave it a little bit more oomph to, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then the 32X is a whole different thing. Because that's also an add-on for the Genesis, but that turns the Genesis into a 32-bit machine to a point. Because it has 3D graphics, like PlayStation graphics and stuff, but on a Genesis. That's why I love 32X, because I think the technology is cool, because it's like, you're making your Genesis play like this crazy graphics for that time, you know what I mean? Like, it's nuts that they even did that. I understand why people wouldn't like it, though, because you literally have to have a Genesis already and then go out and buy that too, you know what I mean? I'm lucky I got my 32X when I did, before it became like a thing, and then so like it was really cheap when I bought it, right? Because I think I only paid $60 for mine in the box with like 6 games, which is insane because 32X games are extremely expensive now. Which is why I haven't completed my collection of it. There's only 42 games for the 32X. Only 42, which isn't very many in the grand scheme of things when you think about consoles. Yeah. That's why it's the one that I want to complete, because it has the least amount of games to actually collect, but also it's hard because the games are really expensive because they didn't sell well at all. Think of it like this, like, Sega Genesis came out in 1988, right? So 1992, they got the Sega CD. So the lifespan was already pretty long at that point. And then the 32X came out in 94, 95, right? And the Sega Saturn was already announced. So, like, why would you buy an add-on for your Genesis when you could just wait for the next console? It's basically like, if I had a PlayStation 4, why would I buy an add-on for my PlayStation 4 when PlayStation 5 is coming out next month? You know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense for people to buy that. Like, they weren't into that. It made no sense consumer-wise. Because you were paying, like, another $120 for another add-on. So say you already had a Genesis, you already spent $120, you spend another $250 on a Sega CD, and then they want you to buy another add-on, and the design of it isn't well designed either, because they all have their own power supplies. So you know how, like, your Genesis has that giant fucking box you gotta plug into the wall? Well, the Sega CD, the 32X, and the Genesis all have one of those. So you need a power bar that's big enough to fit all those, right? Like, it's nuts. There's even a few select games, like maybe 5 games that are 32X CD games. I have 2 of them. Where are you going, bro? I'm trying to freebie you here. Look, hang on, I'll get them. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So just for reference, like while I'm trading here, the 32X also has a lot of games that are also on the Genesis, but they run and look a lot better. So like, Mortal Kombat 2, right? For the Sega Genesis. If I can get it out. Mortal Kombat 2 for the 32X. They're all in these paper boxes too, which sucks because they don't last very long, obviously, so you gotta take care of them. So this is a Genesis cartridge, right? Like you see the shape of it and everything. You know what it looks like. And then this is a 32X cartridge. They're not the same shape at all. They're actually bigger, right? Like they won't fit in those cassette things. They're like actually slightly bigger. Like let me see. That much bigger, just slightly, but just enough that they don't fit, right? So that's a thing. So that's a 32X game. 32X games are cartridges. And then you got Sega CD games like this one. My favorite Sega CD game, by the way. I love it so much. It's like one of my favorite all-time games. And it's a Sega CD game. I love the artwork on the cover, too. But yeah, they're literally CDs, right? Like they come like this with the like foam over it, but right? So there's that. And then on top of that, there's a few games that came out that were like this. Most of them were like full motion videos, so it's like a movie, but like one of those ones where you just like a light gun game, you know what I mean? Where you shoot, name it, whatever is coming on screen or whatever. So a game like this is Sega CD 32X. And the only thing that means is that because the 32X is a 32-bit thing that's an add-on, it basically adds more colors to the Genesis. So the Genesis only has like, can only put, I think, 64 colors on screen at the same time. But when it's using the 32X, it can do like way more than that. Like maybe 256 on screen at the same time. So they'd use that to make the full motion video, like the actual video quality, a lot better if you had a 32X CD game. But the console was already dead by that point because it was like 1995. The Saturn was coming out. So like there's only like 5 of these games that ever were created. And these ones are actually hard to find too. Obviously. They're all in these like sleeve ones like this, see? Like that's like the way they actually come, like that. So it got complicated, you know what I mean? And like consumers weren't gonna get into that and fucking, you know what I mean? It just didn't make sense for them, I guess. Dude, are these guys like ever gonna trade pearls? Like I've traded 2 stacks of fucking gold, I haven't got a single pearl. There's a lot of Sega CD games I'd really like to have, but they're so fucking expensive. Same thing with 32X. No. 32X is a cartridge. And Sega CD games don't work on Saturn, no. No, it's completely different, yeah. So you can see why Sega died off, because they were confusing people by just selling them too much shit. You know what I mean? And I mean, the Saturn wasn't even out that long, because it came out like, say, 96, right? Or 97, maybe, I think, here. So it was only out for 3 years, and then the Dreamcast came out, right? Yeah, it's really dumb. It is actually dumb. I won't lie. I'm a Sega fanboy, and I can say that. You can buy consoles nowadays by other companies that will play all of those as well as more, too. Anyway, I gotta go put this back on the shelf, so I'll be right back while this dude's trading crap to me. Dude's gonna give me all trash, just watch. I'm not gonna get a single pearl this entire trade. There's a lot of games that came out for Sega CD that are really cool, too, that, are just, like, enhanced versions of the Genesis games. And I really like those ones a lot. Like Echo the Dolphin on Sega CD is so much better. I'm just trying to think of like games that are like exclusive to show you that are really cool. I don't have a whole lot of the exclusives because they're fucking expensive, right? And that's the thing about it, really. Like, my favorite thing about the 32X ones is that, like, it had Doom for it, which Doom couldn't run on the Genesis, right? So once they had Doom come out, that was like a thing. I got some games I'll show you, but I gotta go back to the fucking room first. I did all that. That was 2 stacks, 264 stacks of gold ingots, and I got no pearls. I think I might be better off just killing Enderman at this point, because every time I fucking try to do this shit, they give me complete fucking trash. I got a lot of blocks and shit, but like still was not worth it. But see, there's the Sega CD version of Echo the Dolphin. It's actually really good, because if you've ever played Echo the Dolphin, the music is already really good. But that whole Pink Floyd tone that they were going for, like, this is the actual music, right? Like CD quality on keyboard and all the synth and shit. And it sounds so much better on the Sega CD version. Like, the music is crazy good. And then this is a Sega Saturn game here. See, yeah, Sega always went with the stripes, and they just changed the color for whatever console they had, basically, I guess. Yeah, Hexen. I play that game a lot on it. Definitely didn't beat it. That game is ridiculously hard to beat. Anybody that says they beat Echo the Dolphin, I'm always like, you're a liar. There's no way. I mean, if they did, that's an accomplishment for sure. That game is very hard. I got a bunch of enchanted boots, that's cool. I've never beaten Echo the Dolphin. I don't think JB has either. It's actually such a ridiculously hard game. It's once you get to like a certain place in the game and you gotta start like swimming through the sky and you fight like this. The last boss of that game is fucked. Like, it's literally you're fighting aliens, right? Like, the game takes such a weird twist for a game about dolphins. Lots of arrows, though, so that's good, I guess. Yeah, I'll put those games back now anyway, too. Might as well. I don't have very many Saturn games. I probably have, like, 12, maybe, which isn't a lot for me, because you know what my collection is like. A lot of my Sega CD games don't have their actual cases. I just do these little DVD slimline ones. Just makes sense. Well, how many do I have of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, I got 20 32X games. I try to get them all in the box, but like it's extremely hard to find them in the box because where the boxes are cardboard, obviously they don't hold up so well. Like, this is one of my most prized ones. I fucking love this game. I think it's so underrated. And never came out for anything else ever again. Period. It never ever came out for anything else besides the 32X. It's the only way you can play it. That or an emulator, but like, I mean officially, it's the only way you can play it. Knuckles Chaotix is actually such a good game. People like shit on it a lot. I mean, it's not perfect, but like, it's really good. It was in such rough condition when I found it, but like I fixed it up a lot. There's still some tears on the bottom of it, but it's nice to have. There's only 3 games in my collection for 32X that I have that don't have the boxes, which is T-Mac, Knuckles Chaotix, and Afterburner, which is like arcade perfect almost. If you've ever played Afterburner in the arcade, but that's what 32X is known for having like almost perfect arcade ports at that time, which is like nuts. You know what I mean? Because that was a time before like game machines were the same. Like if you were gonna like go to the arcade, you were playing something way cooler than what you had at home. I'm probably just best off trying to find Enderman, honestly. If I can see any, but it's nighttime's almost over now, so I'll have to wait, I guess. Dude, when it comes to Sega, a lot. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because, like, I don't know. I'm just, like, obsessed with Sega stuff. Like, Sega's, like... I'm definitely a fanboy. Even though, like, I'm not a fanboy of Sega to the point that I know that they can't, like... That they do no wrong, like a lot of people have, but, like, you know... It's just what I grew up with, right? Like, I never grew up with Nintendo like everybody else did. Which is why me and JB got along so well, because... JB is the first person I've ever met that liked Sega as much as I did, that actually grew up with Sega consoles rather than Nintendo, because there's not that many people here, especially in Newfoundland. Like, maybe on the mainland or anywhere else, you might find more people, but not here. It was mostly Nintendo shit here everywhere. So it's so hard to, like, most of my Sega games are either from the States or, like, anywhere, because I just buy them on eBay. Yeah, I know you did. You're the second person I've ever met, really. I had a Nintendo 2 later on, but I didn't have it when it came out. Because, like I said, me and my friend basically planned it back in the day. A friend that I had when I was growing up, I got my mom to ask me for a Sega Genesis, I asked my mom for a Sega Genesis, and he asked his mom for Super Nintendo so we could play all the games. Yeah, we can do a lot with this shit down here. Is it still not done over here too? Yeah. I'm gonna wait till I get a respiration element for that probably, because it makes more sense. Yeah, right. Clever. To be fair though, like, I wanted a Sega more in general anyways, because the first place I ever played a Sega was, in the hospital, because I had gotten pneumonia when I was a kid, and I had a regular Nintendo, like just an NES, and then when I went in the hospital, you know how you could, like, when you're in the hospital, you could, like, rent TVs or whatever for, like, whoever's in the hospital or whatever, and I remember my mother, I think, rented a Sega and a TV, and that was the first place I ever played Sonic the Hedgehog, and I remember being fucking mind blown, because I was like, holy shit, because I was so used to just playing, like, regular-ass Mario Brothers for, like, Nintendo or Mario Brothers 3 or something. When I seen that, I was like, holy crap, like, that was it then. I wanted one. And I remember we went to this place here, like this local store that used to be called Nintendo World until they got sued. And she got the Sega Genesis for me for Christmas. Like, I knew I was getting it, but I couldn't have it until Christmas because she was paying it off, I guess, or something like that. So I basically, she let me pick out two games, and I got Sonic 2 was the first game I ever had, and a game called Back to the Future 3, which is probably, honestly, the worst Sega Genesis game ever. It's so bad. It's actually so bad. And I remember I loved Back to the Future as well, right? So, like, I held on to that cartridge. Like, this was probably, I'm thinking maybe September was when she probably started buying it, so I knew I was getting one for Christmas in December, right? So, I had this Sega Genesis game. I actually had the game, but I couldn't play it. So I was really excited, and I was holding on to this Back to the Future game this entire time, like waiting for my Sega Genesis because I couldn't wait to play it for Christmas. I get the console on Christmas, and I put that cartridge in, and I can remember, like, I don't even know how old I was. I had to be like 4, right? Or 5. And I remember putting that fucking cartridge in the console and being so fucking disappointed at how shitty that game was. That game ruined it. It was like, oh man, this game ruined Christmas. Now I had Sonic 2, so that obviously is a good, like, one of the best games on the console. Um, I remember as soon as like Christmas holidays were over, we went back to Nintendo World. I traded that game in Back to the Future 3 because they did like trades with other games they had there. And I traded that in and I got Dick Tracy, which is one of my all-time favorite Sega Genesis games. So that's that. That's a story for you. Not that exciting, but it's cool. Yeah. And honestly, right now, like I actually do want Back to the Future 3, even though it's a bad game. I just want it to have it in my collection. But that game is actually really quite expensive. I find I haven't seen it around anywhere. I've literally not seen it since I was a kid and I owned it. Like Dick Tracy is even an expensive game now. I have the cartridge. I don't have a case for it. But same thing with Ghostbusters because that's really expensive too. Yeah, it's actually nuts. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I was going to say. There was something else I was thinking about, and I forgot. Oh, I was going to say about Sega CD. You know, like all those like really like point and click games from back in the day with computers and shit, where it's just like still images and you point around a room and click on things to try to figure out the story or whatever. It has a lot of those games on it, and I love those games, so that's cool. And it also has a lot of RPGs like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. Not actual Final Fantasy. There's other games, but I mean, games like that. I mean. I think that's what draws me to the game machines to a point is just it's the library, like whatever games are on it. Because I find some game machines like PC Engine, you find like a lot of the games on that are like shoot 'em up games, like the spaceship shooter. You know what I mean? That's like what that's most known for. Like a lot of its best games are that. And if you're wondering how 32X works and stuff like that, it literally just plugs in the cartridge slot of the Genesis, and there's a cord that goes around to the back of the Genesis. The Sega CD actually, like on your Genesis, if you look on the bottom, there's a little like port hole thing you can pull off, and then there's a board that sticks out, and that's what you would push the Sega CD into. Everyone always makes fun of it. It's like the angry video game nerd that used to that reviewed the two of them. And he's just like, once you have both of it on, there's like it looks like the game machine's on life support. It's like getting fucked. Genesis is getting fucked in all of its slots at once. I'm like, yeah, accurate. It's such a stupid design. It's almost like a so ugly it's cool looking design. Because there's different variations of Sega CD too. There's the Sega CD first version, which went underneath it and had like a tray, like a regular CD player. And then there's the top loading one, which is the one that I have because it's a lot easier to find. I wish I could bring it over and like actually show you, but like I can't because it takes so fucking long to take apart and put back together that it's complicated as fuck. Like, because I basically have um, oh man, it's so fucked. It's basically like the Genesis itself, um, and then the video from it is coming from the 32X, but the audio is coming from the Sega CD, so they have to go in like separate places the way that I have it set up. I mean, you don't have to set it up that way, but it's just more. It sounds really good when you hook it into like an actual stereo and shit. Like the sound quality is unbelievable. Especially like a Model 1 Genesis. Like you have a Model 2 I sent you. I was gonna send you a Model 1, but I couldn't get the power switch fixed on it yet, so I just sent you a Model 2. Model 2s have slightly more muffled sound. Like you wouldn't notice it if you're just like a normal playing games occasionally, or you're just playing it through a TV. But if you have them hook up to a stereo, you can notice the difference definitely. Because I do have Model 2 like the one you have. Mine's just in the box. I just don't use it. That's how much of a fanboy I am. Yeah. I wonder if I can move the camera and actually show you like from here. I might be able to. It's pretty long. Yeah. Okay. So like this is my Sega CD 32X, right? So like the Sega CD's right here, right? And then like this is the regular Genesis, just this part here, right? And then 32X is on top. Like this comes out, right? See? And you basically just plug it in like that, right? So like you can run your Genesis games and your 32X games through the top of this, like any other console, right? It's just a cartridge slot. It just has extra processors in it to make it the graphics better, basically. But yeah, the complication of it, like how I have it set up, because like the Model 1s have stereo sound, that's why they have headphone jacks on the front. But if you run like an aux cable or whatever from this to the Sega CD on the back, and then have the stereo sound coming out, you get like really, really good sound out of the machine. But yeah, that's that. It's just so many wires, because like I said, this has its own power supply, this has its own power supply, and this has its own power supply. So like it takes so much to fucking set up, it's not even funny. I could see why people wouldn't like it. And then this is the Saturn here. And the reason I have an action replay on the back of this, which is usually for memory, but is that it actually saves as like a memory card, but it also lets me play Japanese games as well as English ones. So that way I can buy Japanese ones because they're cheaper. But yeah, that's that. But that's like right here. See, like all the power supplies. There's 32X, Sega CD, and Sega Genesis, right? All three of them. Like it's actually fucked. There's so much fucking effort to just get it to run. But that's why I have the three of those up there, because they're like my three ones I play the most, probably. The Sega ones, and then the Atari Jaguar, which is extremely rare. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, camera's probably gonna move on its own because the cord's all fucked now, but. Yeah, it's a lot, definitely, to hook up. I was actually thinking about getting JB a 32X for Christmas because I got him back into collecting the stuff. Multiple. We'll probably play a bunch because there's certain games for different consoles that we're still trying to beat that we actually practice on off time. You know what I mean? Like, we're probably gonna play Nightmare on Elm Street for Nintendo because we've been trying to beat that game for fucking ever, and we've gotten very close, but haven't got. We've always died at like the last level. Don't give you enough lives. We're probably gonna be playing a lot of Genesis because I had most games that I've picked up since the last time he was here were Genesis games. So yeah, I haven't gotten any 32X games because most of the 32X games I have I either had before they were expensive or they were gifts because I can't just go out and spend $150 on a game. I'm probably gonna take most of the stuff apart tomorrow, like the game machines and stuff, and hook it all up again because the cords get so tangled. It's not funny. There's so many cords in this room. It's not. The cables in this room are insane when you think about it. That every console that's in this room has its own video cable, and then everyone has their own power cable, and then you got controller cables, And then you got fucking audio cables because all of my game machines are hooked into the one stereo, like right here, the old like 80s stereo, which makes everything sound amazing. Because I have the surround sound set up around the room, right? So like literally in stereo sound, the video games sound insane in this room. It actually sounds so fucking good. I wish I could actually show you. But yeah, I need to take it apart because there's so much tangling going on in behind the TV and stuff, and it sucks. The only problem is it's super frustrating trying to get everything together and trying to get behind the TV, and because the TV I use for the retro games is a CRT, like one of the big ass TVs, but it's like I think it's a 40-inch TV. It's a very large TV for like retro stuff. There's a Sony Trinitron, which is like the best ones you can get for retro games. If you're ever getting like an actual old school TV, try and get a Sony one. The Sony ones are the best ones. 100%. The picture is like a million times better. It's hard to explain, like, but if you put it side by side, you can definitely notice a huge difference. Even like a normal person that just doesn't know about it would notice. It's way more sharp. It's so much that like whenever people I see them throwing them out or giving them away for free, I will literally go and get it and just put it in storage just in case mine dies, or because I mean they're tubes, they die eventually. But yeah, it's nuts. I put stuff in here, did I not? I did. Probably make one copper block. And we haven't had a thunderstorm in here at all. Yeah, for sure. For sure one day. It's like how many of the fucking add-ons and stuff I have for like that stuff is nuts too, right? Like I mean like peripherals, like light guns and stuff like that. Like Sega Genesis has a light gun, right? I don't know if you knew that. Like the Zapper for Nintendo. It's slightly different because it uses an actual sensor thing, but like it's pretty good. It works. It only works with like a very few games, but it's cool if you actually have one. It's called a Menacer. Because I remember Super Nintendo had their own gun too, which was like a giant bazooka one. It's like a similar style to that, but you can take it apart and just use the actual gun part too, like the just whatever. I've also got like an interactor, which is like a really stupid peripheral that came out years ago. It's like a backpack that you wear, but it basically like it edits the game sound when you're playing, so that like it like kind of like the bait you can feel the bass in your back, so like you can feel the stuff in the game. It doesn't work very well, obviously. It's a terrible cash grab, but like it's cool still. Because I remember seeing all the commercials for that shit. So when you actually find them, it's like, man, that's so cool. I should literally do a stream sometime where I literally just like do like or do a video of like a tour of my room or something. That'd be kind of cool. Take fucking forever. So much hoarding. I mean, the biggest thing in here that's worth anything is the literal thing behind me, right? The PlayStation thing. That's other than that, I mean, most of the stuff in here is not like worth a whole lot of money. It's just it seems like it might be, but it's not. That and the arcade machines, but the arcade machines are only worth whatever because they're new. You know what I mean? They're not like actual machines. It's not quite the same thing. I might sometime. I don't know. I've always thought about it because I know like other channels and stuff do stuff like that, especially retro gaming ones. It might be a thing I'd probably do more when I get stuff to do streaming retro stuff, because then it might be more of a link in with it. Because I mean, where I'm just doing Minecraft for the most part, it's not really like um associated, I guess. There's a lot to show too. It's not like the most organized thing because it used to be more organized, but the more I get, the harder it is to organize, obviously. So it's a thing. I'm always reorganizing, and and the thing is too, like you want to organize it and leave room because if I do buy more, I need more room to put it. Especially the Genesis stuff, like the Sega stuff is probably what I have the most of, and that takes up a lot of room because those clamshell cases are fucking huge. I might move this PlayStation thing later on out of the way of the stream so I can like actually just have the games in the background. Would be kind of cool. You have a cool Nirvana collection though. Like I don't have that much Nirvana stuff, and I do have like stuff that I thought was cool, and then I seen yours and I was like, oh, jelly, like the heart shaped box stuff. That's cool. I have a lot of like weird Nirvana shit. Like I got a lot of like the fake show tickets and stuff, and like fake backstage pass things that were like in this book I bought one time. I had a lot of Nirvana posters, a lot of flags. Um, as far as vinyl, I have a lot of their bootleg vinyls, plus the two collector ones. Like I got the Penny Royalty one, and I got the Teen Spirit one that came with my guitar that you could only get from Fender. With video games, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm definitely into it, of course. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for video games. 100%. It's like anyone that says like movies and stuff too. Like I understand shit like that, you know. I find a lot of cool shit thrifting too. That's the thing. Like I said, like I want to get rid of some stuff later on, but I don't know what I would even where to start. Probably figurines because they take up way too much room and they get way too dusty. I have a lot. Like it's fucking ridiculous. I even found this the other day when I was thrifting that time, and it's literally just been sitting here on the shelf the whole time now. But it's like it's literally sealed. It's never been opened, but it's like an actual Batman Batmobile. Just the fucking shit you find here. Like you find a lot of random junk here that's not even open. It's like a thing. I don't know why it's a thing. The other thing I might do too is put some consoles in storage or something, because like they take up so much room. Because say like if I count my consoles that I have in this room right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, including my computer, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There's 25 game machines hooked up right now that like I could just turn on and play if I wanted to. And then I got 2 that are in storage, 3 that are in storage. And this one behind me is fake, so that doesn't, it's nothing, there's nothing in that PlayStation that's right there. It's literally empty. It's just a shell. There is a game machine in the bottom. I have a PlayStation 2 in there. No, I'm wrong. There's 2 more on top of that because there's 2 right in front of me that I just never even bothered to see. So I have that like Atari computer that's in front of me, and I have a Super Nintendo right there on the coffee table. Yeah, right. A lot of my consoles, I like having the collector's editions of them too. It's like a thing. Like I have a Pokemon GameCube. Um, my Dreamcast. If you've ever seen a Dreamcast, they're usually gray. I have a black Dreamcast. I have a red Nintendo Wii. Petting the cat. Yeah. I just find the collector's edition of consoles are cool too. And that's not even counting the handhelds that I have here too, because there's so many handhelds here. Some of them are Jess's, the Game Boy ones especially, because that's what she collects. Um, Game Gear is all mine, and Wonder Swan is all mine. And PSP, I have a lot of PSP games, a shit ton of PSP games. Oh. Yeah, I love Game Gear too. Game Gear's so underrated. I wish that they would really re-release like another version with like a better screen just nowadays, so you could like play those games better. Like I have a console that lets me play them on the TV, right? It's not made by Sega or nothing. It's like a third-party company, but like it's cool. I think I told you about that before. I don't have it hooked up at the moment, but because there's slight lag to it, it's not perfect, but it's cool to be able to play them on the TV because it sucks playing them on that screen nowadays. It does not hold up at all. Tesla cat is like literally drooling on me. Stop drooling on me. Hang on a second. Let me see. Let me see. I'm just trying to think of like random obscure fucking things I have here. I guess like where she collects Game Boys, she has like Pokemon one, see, and a Hello Kitty Game Boy Pocket. This one's Japanese exclusive, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it came from Japan. And I have like weird shit like this little handheld arcade thing. I say handheld, but it's fucking massive. But it's like it's literally just Space Invaders. See? I like shit like this more than anything. I like those little mini arcades. They're always cool. So I got a bunch up in the corner over here, but I can't reach them because they're on a shelf. They're more for looks than anything. It's like the little Mortal Kombat one I got. That's literally just has actual Mortal Kombat on it. It's not like a shitty version or nothing. It's cool. You can get them at Walmart, I think. I don't know if you can get them at Walmart down there, but you can get it here. Man, this cat is so affectionate tonight. Holy crap. And like I said, this isn't even count. Nothing in this room has my PC stuff, which is out in the other room because I have all the PC stuff in a separate room. Ow. Oh yeah. Is it like a good version? Because a lot of them they got like these stupid black and white screens, and I'm like, man, this shit like was outdated in 1990. Like, why is this still around? Because remember the little like wristwatch games or like the Tiger handheld ones. Like I have a Sonic Spinball Tiger handheld one over there. I just like them because the artwork on the machine itself is cool. Really. I have like some obscure. I know one I can show you actually. That I don't think I've showed you before. This is really obscure. It was actually somebody on Facebook Marketplace was selling it here, and he said someone was already coming to get it, and I was like, I will pay you an extra $20 if I can come get it right now. I will overpay for it because I want it so bad, and it's so cool that I have it. I actually like love this thing, but it's a something most people probably haven't heard of, but it's a remember when organizers were a thing before like cell phones were big or anything? Well, it's a Sega one, see? See? But it's cool because it has an IR port on top of it, so if anyone had another one, you could actually play games together on it too. Like, not very good games now, but that and send messages back and forth and stuff like that. Like, it's a thing of its time, obviously, but yeah, I never knew they existed for years. I remember seeing one online one time, and when I seen someone was actually selling it here, I was like, I will buy that off of you. But they're so nice. The quality is even nice, and the see-through plastic. And mine's in really good condition, so I'm happy about that. It literally just takes a watch battery and a one AAA battery, but it's nice. I don't play it very much because I mean, it's basically an oversized calculator. But what do you do, right? Which reminds me, if you ever have handhelds or anything like that, I don't know if anybody ever told you this, but like literally video game collectors do it all the time. But like, you know these like display plate things for like fucking fancy ass plates and shit? But like they're actually really good for holding game machines and shit, right? So a lot of people will just do that. Just buy a bunch of these from like the Dollar Tree or Dollar Store or whatever and do that. For any game machine, because like where you can move it back and forth or smaller or whatever, it just works for anything really. You can do it for games too, anything. It's funny because I literally have a China hutch behind me, but it's filled with Sega CD games because it has like the lights in it and everything, right? Yeah, it's nuts. The stuff that you can do, especially like old stuff like that. Like you don't think that like anything like that is like gonna be good for anything. Like the cassette tape things, like nobody has cassette tapes anymore. So like everybody got rid of those cassette tape things, but they're so good for retro games. It's not funny because they'll hold Sega Genesis games, they'll hold Famicom games. So that's so cool. I always like that. I should probably put this back on the shelf before I forget. But yeah, it's actually like nuts. Oh, it has it down here. I even got that like magnifying glass thing that you put on like the Game Gear screen to make it better. Or something else I was just thinking of. I was going to show you, but I don't remember what it was. What was I thinking? Like I've got a lot of like obscure small handhelds too, like the little Tiger ones. Like I got this Dragon Ball Z one, and then like this one. I like these ones are my favorite. The Sonic Spinball one, because the artwork on them is so cool. Like the game itself fucking sucks. It's terrible, but it's fucking because obviously they're not the same as the consoles back then, especially they were fucking terrible. It's just like those black and white fucking grid games. They're not even really games. The artwork is just so nice on them that they look like they were good, but they're not. Those are actually hard to find nowadays too, I find. Anyways, let me see if there's any amethyst, I guess. I'm gonna get off now in a second. Man, I've been standing still talking about games the entire time and not a single amethyst thing or whatever. Let's try. Had to go get a shower now. Anyways, I'm off for tonight. Uh, message me if you wanna, but if you're going to bed, that's cool. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, anytime. Any questions, whatever. I don't care. I'll answer anything. You know me. I can rant for hours about nothing. But yeah, I'll see you later. Peace.